Guys, congratulations on the show. It's
Thank you so much.
it's wonderful. There's lots to unpack, but I've wanted to ask this question to everybody, so I'm going to ask it to you as well. That opening credits sequence is fantastic. It's so wonderful, and I just wondered what you guys saw in that, why you wanted to do that, and what you thought it brought to the show. Because it's Jen was just saying about how obviously because of COVID, the guys couldn't all be together all at the same time because of different protocols, different shooting schedules. But this was a moment that everybody could kind of come together.
That's a great point. Yes, absolutely. And I think it shows in what you saw, which is there's so much joy there. And it was interesting that all of our actors have different dancing styles and abilities. Mina Kim is this beautiful dancer in a traditional way, and maybe a feel of contemporary too. But it really has this culmination of joy and release. And these characters, Michael makes a good point. The actors are in character. And it was really Sue Hugh, our showrunner, her intention to come up with this opening credit sequence that you can see these characters having joy. And even though they're going through these very hard times, you see all of them together and you see how multi-generational it is and how joyful it is. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll just it was always from the couple of quirky things, which is some showrunners will describe a possible title sequence. This is the first time in my career it's actually been created. And so a version of it was in the earliest script. And then she would insist on every other episode having it in the script itself. It was that important to her in terms of the language of the show. And so it's in a way, even though it's the same every episode, there's past and present. And then there's the kind of the child within our characters that we get a glimpse of every episode. These are characters who they have to be so controlled, so precise to navigate the world they're in based on historical circumstance, familial circumstance, business, society, etc. And so, but they all have a child within that they would like to get out, right? And so it's both a pop of joy, but it's them, it's them as well. And so it's a kind of reminder every episode of who they wish they could be. And in a way also for a contemporary generation, it's the legacy that our previous generation have given us, which is hopefully you're in the circumstance where the sacrifices of the previous generations allow you to live more freely.
And it's also fun and exciting. It has some swagger to it too.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch upon you for you as producers, just the impact that Apple TV has had, because I have access to the press site and seeing all these shows and just trying to keep up. But they provided such a great platform for some of your shows before. What was it like working with them again, and what have they provided you that you didn't have maybe five years ago to tell a story like this?
We should both.
Yeah. I mean, they're incredible to work with. I make the morning show with them, and we're host on another show with them. They're ambitious, like they take big swings and they want to go where there are new places, and they're drawn to white spaces. When Teresa and I put the show together with Sue and we were going to market, Teresa was my agent at the time and Sue's agent. And Teresa was the best in the business. She's amazing at what she does now as well. And so we were figuring out where to go. And one of the things our biggest ambition for this was, and we were insane. Like, no, it wasn't like the world was demanding this show at the time. We were demanding it, and we believed it could happen. And one of the things we wanted for it was to do it at scale, right? So we've read the book. It's both an incredibly intimate and personal saga, but it's a saga, and we wanted to take an audience to Korea in the past. We wanted you to be in Japan in the past, and even in America a little bit. And we want to do that properly and in the way an audience to collapse the gap between this and The Crown and Gilded Age. This story, these people's story, Koreans, Zainichi, Korean American, they deserve the same scale and treatment as any other big story. And so Apple saw that, saw what we saw in it, and they said, yes, let's do it that way. We're not going to treat this. There's a term in America that's a bit condescending, which is local language, right? That's how non-English language shows are discussed. And when you hear local language, it's code for lower budget, lower production value, et cetera. And they always just treated this as a global show that they were excited to make. And that's a big reason we went with them. And they've been an amazing partner.
They definitely were ambitious. And I think that they try to do things that nobody else is doing, as you know. And we had these incredibly, not just supportive executives, but executives who took it on as if it was personal for them. We definitely felt that through the process. And I've actually worked with a lot of people at Apple for many, many years, even predating their days at Apple, and they've always had that ambition. And so to have a team of executives at Apple who really got it from not just a storytelling point of view, but they really understood how we needed to make it ambitiously. Remember, they bought this project over 3.5 years ago. So way ahead of the curve of where we are now in terms of Asian series and films.
Yeah, this is Parasite had not come out. Crazy Rich Asians was coming, but also hadn't come out yet. So, so we felt something.
Easy one.
Yes, it was. We felt like the moment was ripe, and
audiences were ready, and
yeah. Well, you nail it. So congratulations on that. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.